For this project, we're gonna start with this skeleton that I got from Target for $18. Then I got a piece of black velvet ribbon and I folded it in two. And with the scissors, we're gonna cut a circle to put it as the eye patch for our skeleton. And of course, it doesn't have to be a perfect circle. It's something for Halloween. I opened the circle, then I hot glued a piece of twine between the two circles. I put that in the center so that we would be able to tie it around the skeleton head, just like that. And then this is gonna go in this eye. Then I put some hot glue on the eye and attached the eye patch. And I tied that from the back. Now we wanna make the teeth pop. So with the black chalk paint, I went over the teeth. I painted the teeth and I went in between the crevices between each tooth to cover all in black paint. And I also painted the nose and the other eye to make them pop. Then with a damp paper towel, I went over the teeth to remove any excess paint and to make it look like that, where you have the darker crevices and wider teeth on the top. Then with my favorite red color from Dixie Belle, I went over the tapping a little bit here and a little bit there on the ribs of the skeleton. And to get that look, I didn't really saturate the brush with the paint. I just touched the surface of the paint with the brush and it gave me that look. And I didn't press too hard, I just tapped in little red here and there to get that finish. I also decided to color some of these mushrooms in red. So I colored the bigger one and the smaller one in the same red color. I also gave some touches on the teeth and by the chin. Next, with the hot glue gun, I put some hot glue into the other eye and I got some of these pearl beads inside the eye. Then with our E6000 glue, we're gonna put a little bit onto the ribs of the skeleton and spread it around. And now my absolute favorite part, the glitter. We're gonna get the red and the brown glitter and we're gonna spread that in the middle, just right here where we added the glue. I put some red, then I put some of the brown. And I also decided to add some of the glitter on the mushrooms. So I went in with my E6000 glue on scattered spots and then I added glitter on the top of that. Then a little tap to remove all the excess glitter. Then with the hot glue gun, I attached a piece of red velvet fabric on the top of the head. And with the twine, I'm gonna tie it from the side. I arranged it to look as if there's a little knot on the side, then I tied the twine on the top of that. And with the scissors, we're gonna cut the excess fabric randomly. We need to make it look torn, old, like to give that Halloween vibe. Then I put some of the black chalk paint on my fingers and went over the edges of the fabric. And I distressed all the velvet fabric from the top and from the sides where we cut the excess. Then I got this sword from the Dollar Tree from the toys section. I tied some red velvet fabric on the top of the sword. And then with the pipe cleaner and hot glue gun, I'm gonna attach that to the side of our skeleton. Then I got this beautiful red gem and I put it on the top of the sword. Now with our beautiful Harlequin ribbon, and I also got the red and gold satin ribbon, and we're gonna make a bow for our pirate. I did make the bow shape and I tied everything with twine from the middle. I cut the ends of the ribbon into a fishtail like we always do, and then with the lighter, I went over the edges to make sure it won't frail. Then I hot glued it to the shoulder of the skeleton. There was a little moth on the spot where I added the bows, so I moved that and put it on the sword. And I got one of the Dollar Tree little spiders and I hot glued it to the head. Then I got some full florals to combine all the colors together. They have some red, some yellow, greens, and it's gonna look beautiful on the back of the skeleton. Then I got this piece of broken earring that I had from before. You know, I always keep the old jewelry, accessories, everything to use on my DIYs. So I attached that on the side with the hot glue gun. Then I got an old eyeglasses chain that I had and it's in gold color, and I attached this little gold cross embellishment to it, and we're gonna use it as the pirate necklace. Then I got some sew-on gold coins that I got from Temu, and I'm gonna hot glue them on the bottom. And I also put one gold coin on the teeth. Next, we're gonna add these beautiful full leaves that I got from Craft Outlet, but they were actually in some yellowish color, and then I spray painted them because I wanted that beautiful red goldish color. Actually, in the base of this skeleton, you can push in your florals. It's kind of like a really hard foam. And then on the back of the skeleton, I put a little piece of foam and I added a beautiful glitter branch that I got from the Dollar Tree. And just like that, our beautiful pirate Halloween centerpiece was ready, and I am so in love with how it turned out. And I ended up adding a red feather by the hat. And if you look up all the Halloween centerpieces, you're gonna see that they range between $95 up to $225 sometimes. But today, for under $25, we made this gorgeous, unique Halloween centerpiece. And I am so in love with how it turned out. Please let me know in the comments what's your favorite color combo for Halloween and for fall, and what do you think about our beautiful pirate centerpiece. For this Halloween centerpiece, we're gonna start with this beautiful black fluffed skull. I got this one from Target for $5. It's a 6-inch skull and it's so soft and beautiful. Then with the E6000 glue, I put some in the eyes, and then I got these beautiful gold gems that I got from Temu, but you can always find them on Amazon, and we're gonna stick them inside the eyes. I am loving this already. Then again, with the E6000 glue, I'm gonna go around the tip of the eye bone, just a little bit. I'm not gonna put too much, and I'm gonna spread it around. I also put some on the teeth. Then I got some little gold stones, and I'm gonna arrange them around the eyes, but not too close to each other, just to look like this. Then with the dark goldish glitter, I'm gonna sprinkle that to cover all the spaces between our beautiful stones. I'm gonna also put some on the teeth. And last minute, I also decided to add some around the nose just to define the nose and highlight it. Then I gave a little tap to the skull to remove any excess glitter. I forgot to add on the bottom teeth, so I did that too. Now we're gonna put this beauty aside to dry and work on the base. Now for our base, I got this pumpkin for free. I got it from one of my friends after her kids painted all over it, and I just gave it a coat of primer. So I got my black chalk paint, and with a sponge, I tapped all around the pumpkin. And I kept tapping to cover the whole pumpkin in black. It's gonna give the paint a little texture, and this is how it looks after it was done. After the pumpkin was dry, I got this gold mesh, and I'm gonna wrap that around the pumpkin. We're gonna try to make a ponytail for our pumpkin, so you're gonna hold the whole mesh from the top and try to pull it up until it's all stretched and covering the whole pumpkin. Then we're gonna wrap the twine really tight around it, and we're gonna give it 2 knots. Once that was done, I held the twine, and then I started pulling the fabric up to stretch it as much as I can around the pumpkin. Then I stretched the fabric from the middle to look like this. Now I got this piece of foam from the dollar store, and I kind of pressed it on the top of the pumpkin to give me this little hole in the foam to make it easier to attach it to the top of the pumpkin. I hot glued that on the top of the pumpkin, and then I hot glued our skull. Now, my favorite part to decorate the centerpiece. I got the gold ribbon, the black velvet ribbon, and the harlequin ribbon, and I'm gonna start making a big bow. I used the 3 colors, and I made bows, and I tied them with the twine from the middle. Then I stuck that on the side of the skull. I also cut the ends into a fishtail. Next, we're gonna attach this beautiful gold peony that I had from before into the side of the skull. Of course, this is optional. You can use whichever florals you like. But I had this gold peony laying around, and I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna also add some beautiful full leaves around our centerpiece. I added some to the front and some on the back. I got these beautiful leaves from the craft outlet. I kept adding more of the full leaves to make it look fuller. And with the gold glitter branch that I got from the Dollar Tree, I cut it into little pieces, and I started arranging them around. And to combine all these beautiful colors together, I added some of these greenish berries and pine cones, full leaves that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I rearranged them also around the centerpiece. And this is how it looks from the back so far. I'm gonna keep adding the leaves until it looks full. Then I got another long, beautiful golden leaf that I also got from the Dollar Tree. The stem has 3 of them, and I'm gonna cut that into 2, and I'll put 1 on the side of the skeleton and 1 in the front. And our last step would be adding this beautiful goldish crown using the E6000 glue. And our beautiful skull pumpkin centerpiece turned absolutely beautiful. I'm sure I'm gonna be making more of these Halloween centerpieces in different colors. Please let me know in the comments what color combo would you use with these black plugged skulls. If you look up these kind of centerpieces, you're gonna find that they range between $85 up to $135. And remember, you can make this gorgeous Halloween centerpiece for under $15. I got my pumpkin for free, and I also had these leftover full florals and full leaves, but you can always get these size of pumpkins for under $3, and you can get all the florals from the Dollar Tree or use whichever you have. For this project, we're gonna start with a grapevine wreath base. I got this one from Joanne last year. It was on sale for $5. Then I got this beautiful pink shimmery skeleton from Target, and I'm gonna stretch the legs, and we're gonna attach our skeleton to the wreath. We're gonna keep our skeleton head up on the top of the wreath, and we're gonna attach that with the zip ties. I got 2 white zip ties, and I passed them through the skeleton and tied them on the top of the wreath. And we're gonna do the same exact thing for the legs. We're gonna get the zip ties and wrap that around the legs and our wreath, and pull them out to make sure they are not moving anywhere. Now it's attached to our wreath and ready to decorate. Next, I got these beautiful sprays from the craft outlet. I got the donuts, I got the glittery leaves, all the beautiful Halloween candy, and we're gonna attach them to our wreath. I always like to cut these branches and separate them so that I can place each of them where I want. Then we got black and harlequin ribbon, we got the blue and the pink, we got the mesh and the tulle, and we're ready to decorate our wreath. I started by cutting the mesh into 21 inches each piece, and then I'm gonna scrunch them like that from the middle, and then with the pipe cleaner, I'm gonna attach that to our wreath. First, I tied the pipe cleaner on the mesh, and then I tied that on the wreath. We're gonna add a few on the right side. I ended up adding 2, and we're gonna do the same exact thing on the left side. With the pipe cleaner, we tied the mesh from the middle, and then we attach that to our wreath. I like to put them close to each other to make it look fuller on that part. We're not covering the whole wreath, we're just gonna put some on the right side and some on the left side. Next, I'm gonna do the same exact thing on the bottom by the legs. We're gonna add 2 of them to the right, 2 of them to the left, and I'm also gonna add 2 in the middle. So our focal points are gonna be the top and the bottom of the wreath, but we're not covering the middle. I fluffed them up, and I started adding my beautiful glittery florals and leaves. I added the pink, the teal, the pom-poms, one of the macaroons, and I kept matching both sides together. I kept adding these beautiful candy on each side. I added the pink macaroon on one side, the teal on the other. I kept adding all these glittery, beautiful sprays until I was done, and this is how it looks like. Then with our beautiful ribbon, I'm gonna make bows of each color. So I started with the black, and then I added the pink, and I'm gonna tie them in the middle with the zip tie. I fluffed them up, and I'm gonna attach that right under the mesh on each side. And of course, we cut all the ribbon ends into a fishtail. Now it's time to work on the bottom of the wreath. I used the same technique and same colors to make a bigger bow for the bottom, but this time I added the harlequin ribbon too. And we're gonna attach that right in the middle between the skeleton legs. And of course, we're gonna fluff them up, and we're gonna make sure that we cut all the ribbon ends into a fishtail. Now it's time to also add some florals and sprays to the bottom. I started with the teal on each side, and I kept adding all the pinks, all the colors that we used on the top, and all the beautiful candy I am in love with these pink lollipops so much. They are so cute. I also added some of the candy by the top ribbon. I added more pom-poms, more lollipops all around, and I tried to balance each side. And once I was satisfied with the amount of this beautiful candy, our wreath was done. And I am so in love with how this wreath turned out. Such a huge, gorgeous Halloween wreath. I ended up adding some more accessories to it. I hot glued that crown, I hot glued some feathers, and I added a little bow under the chin. And I also added this rhinestone and some pom-poms on the hands. And I also sewed up 2 colors of the pink tone, and I added that as a little tutu to our dancer. And of course, I didn't forget the eyelashes. I did the eyelashes the same way I did it on our last video using vinyl and scissors. And if you look up on Etsy for these size of wreaths, you're gonna find that they range between $225 up to $375. And for about $45, we made this huge, beautiful Halloween skeleton wreath. It's so sparkly, so beautiful, and I am so in love with how it turned out. Please let me know in the comments if you like this Halloween color combo and what do you think about our skeleton ballerina. For this DIY, we're gonna start off with a Dollar Tree pumpkin. I got this ceramic pumpkin from the Dollar Tree and we're gonna give it a coat of this beautiful color from Dixie Belle. We're gonna put some texture on that pumpkin, but for the first coat, I'm just gonna put the basic color. Then I got another bottle that I also got from the Dollar Tree, but I have used it before and I'm gonna recycle it for this project. Then I got some sea salt, which is a paint additive, and I'm gonna mix it with the paint. I just put a little bit to the paint and I'm gonna mix them very well. Once it's ready, I'm gonna use the tapping technique to cover the bottle. I'm trying to give it as much texture as I can. I kept tapping on the paint until I covered the whole bottle. We're gonna give each the pumpkin and the bottle 2 coats to give them the maximum texture. Once they were dry, I got my E6000 glue and I attached the pumpkin on the top of the bottle. Then I got my all-time favorite Harlequin stencil and I started stenciling it in black paint. I just put in very little amount of paint on the brush and the stencil came out nice and crisp. I kept stenciling all around the bottle until it looked like this. Then I got my water-based wax. You can use any wax that you have. And we're gonna go over these lines on the pumpkin using a thin brush. I kept adding the wax on all the pumpkin crevices to make it pop. And I kinda added a thick layer of the wax. Once I was done, I got my damp paper towel and I went over it to wipe any excess wax. And I'm loving the wax with the texture already. Once I was done, I got the same base color that we used on the pumpkin and the bottle, and I'm gonna go over the pumpkin, the top parts of the pumpkin, not the crevices, just to highlight it, and you're gonna see how it pops. We got the darker color on the back and lighter one on the surface. Then I got a Sharpie and I started outlining where the eyes will be. I did a little oval and then I'm gonna make it bigger. I also drew a mouse for our Scarecrow bottle, and this is how it looks once I was done. Now we're gonna decorate it a little bit. I got a piece of velvet black ribbon and I'm gonna tie it around where the bottle meets the pumpkin. I also made a little bow with a black velvet ribbon. Then I got one of these little hat witches that I also got from the Dollar Tree. They came in a pack of 3, and with the hot glue gun, I attached that on the top of the pumpkin. I also added a little yellow feather on the top and another smaller one. And this is how it looked after it was done. I wasn't so sure about the black velvet ribbon. I felt like it's a little bit bigger, so I ended up changing it to this brown and gold smaller ribbon. Please let me know, what do you think? Which one is better, the black one or the brownish goldish one with the Scarecrow? And away from the ribbon, I'm so in love with our Scarecrow bottle. This Halloween DIY is one of the easiest DIYs ever. We're gonna start with a spider that I got from the Dollar Tree, and with the scissors, we're gonna cut the end of the spider, just to make it look like that. Then I got this beautiful gold gem that I got from Temu. You can always find them on Amazon. And we're gonna hot glue that to the spider. And on the back, we're gonna get one of these flathead push-in pens. And with the E6000 glue or the hot glue gun, we're gonna attach that to the back. We're gonna get the candle and we're gonna use that as a Halloween candle pen. And just like that, it was ready to use. I got my black candle and I'm gonna use this as a Halloween candle pen. And please let me know in the comments if you have any other ideas for candle pens. You can always remove them. You can reuse them on different candles. Such an easy Halloween DIY decoration that takes less than 5 minutes and costs less than $1. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please let me know in the comments what was your favorite project and what color combo would you like to use for Halloween.